you're codependent, I don't have to go into why it is an uncomfortable personality or tendency, why it's an uncomfortable way to live, because people who are codependent attract and manifest a lot of toxic relationships and situations. It is a cycle in which you are always the one pouring into other people and never ever having that energy reciprocated. So in a previous video, I spoke about why it is so challenging to release that behavior, to heal from it, from the tendency, to help our brains to move away from the automatic tendency to self-abandon, self-betray, in order to be valued and loved by others. But in this video, I want to talk to you about something a little different. So previously, I spoke about why it's so challenging to release the behavior and the tendencies, because we've associated being good with the behavior. And there's a difference between being nice and being a good person. Being a good person means being able to take care of yourself and being good to yourself, first and foremost. It doesn't come with people-pleasing tendencies, because then it's about the need to be accepted and liked and loved. Being good is authentic. It's you choosing a behavior and an action regardless of whether that person is going to return or reciprocate the energy, because you are self-sufficient and you don't need anybody to fill your cups. But I want to go into something else, another detail around codependence that is rooted at an energetic level, and it is really about the needs that we are starved of, that we are deficient in. So codependence is rooted in giving somebody else what you believe they need, and ultimately what they mirror to you. Okay, so they're mirroring you. So it's a need that you have, that you recognize is void in them, and you're wanting to fill that cup for them. You're wanting to fulfill an emptiness within yourself by offering that to somebody else. You're wanting to fulfill and offer what you feel is absent and what you're starving of here with you to somebody else, because there is a belief that good people, nice people, will give us what we need. And it goes even further to the belief that we can only have our needs met by others. Because if I'm empty of this thing, then I surely can't give it to myself. Then somebody else needs to give it to me. And that is a false premise. So that belief, that concept that when you're starving for something, for acceptance, for forgiveness, for unconditional love, for understanding, for tolerance, for embrace, whatever it is, that if you give that to somebody else, then you're contributing to a world in which you might meet with people or have those people return the favor and give it back to you. And it's a false premise, because it's not really how our universe works. So it's taking responsibility for somebody else's shortage because you believe they don't have it. And it's sort of this overshadowing of your own shortage, that you believe just if you could just be loved enough, someone else will offer that to you and fill that cup for you. And it never happens. So if you can address that belief, if you can address that concept and replace it with what is more true to our reality and to the laws of our reality, that we actually all have the capacity to give ourselves what it is we need. We just have to make the choice to do that. And as long as we are hoping to receive it from other people, or we believe that we live in a world where we are supposed to stuff one another's wounds, fill one another's cups, fill up one another's emptiness, provide one another with what we believe we don't have, then we essentially contribute to a reality where we are all constantly disempowered, because we all have to and can only provide ourselves with that which we feel is absent, if we decide that it is worth it, in a sense. Okay, so 2 things you want to process, 2 things you want to give some thought to if you're wanting to move to a more stable attachment style where you are full. And so whoever you attract into your life is not through a wound or through a need or through a desperation, but by choice. And so you can manifest and attract healthy situations, and you can navigate situations in a way where you don't find yourself stuck in these toxic and possibly very dangerous situations. It's 2 things. It's your concepts around what it means to be a good person, and delving into the difference between, because there is a difference, being nice and being good. Being nice is a pretense, it's an action, it's something I choose to do so you see me in a certain way, and being good is authentic. So that's the one thing. And the other thing is, what are my beliefs around emotional voids, emotional starvation, the emptiness, where I'm starving, where I'm lacking emotionally, the things that I feel I'm lacking? Do I believe that ideally I would live in a world where people are kind enough and good enough to provide me with those things so that I can feel worthy and loved? Or is that something I'm supposed to give to myself, and as a result I attract people into my life who do the same for themselves? So we're all full, and we all are these overflowing cups of goodness and fullness that we then get to share it with one another. What is the true concept and belief? And it's not just what are my thoughts around it. Investigate your behavior, because your behavior is going to tell you what the unconscious beliefs are, because sometimes they're different to what you know to be, to make sense in the world. We can all say, yeah, we should love ourselves, and it's the people who say loving yourself is the most important thing in the world, where you can recognize in their behaviors, their choices and their actions that they do not match loving themselves. So we can say nice things and we can have great ideas about how this is supposed to look. But where are we really? We get to investigate that in the choices we make, the behaviors, how we process an experience with somebody else. Is it from an anxious, desperate, obsessive place to fix something? I want to fix this with you because I don't want you to feel like I'm a terrible person and that I don't love you. If there's anxiety and insecurity around that, then maybe you're not so free to love. And maybe you're attracting people who are not so free to love either, because their wounds and their shortage and the emptiness and the void and the shortage of emotional fulfillment and well-being just is not allowing it.